So now I'm feeling like I've expended some energy that was in the way. I've made my tasty, warm, yummy beverage with lots of yummy mushrooms and stuff in it. It's mud water. I can't remember what else is in it, but it's good stuff. Okay. I'm going to take 3 deep breaths and then I'll start. Okay. So those will typically be edited out, recorded things when I post them after they've been edited and stuff. But I'm leaving them in the lives. What I mean by them is the 3 deep breaths, because I just find it to be a really powerful practice to just literally take at least 1, sometimes 3 deep breaths, just kind of every little bit. But especially when I'm starting something. And yeah, I just thought, well, if I leave them in when I do my lives, then maybe whoever's watching, if somebody happens to watch, which is fine, I invite you to. Sorry, I keep getting distracted, but yeah, I leave the breaths in because I am hoping that if someone's watching this, they will take 3 deep breaths also. And maybe, just maybe, they'll see how good it feels. I might do it at other times. It also helps calm me down because, it doesn't make for very good video when I'm like all twitchy and jittery and, constantly changing directions. So I attempt at some form of linear thinking while on camera. Okay. So, the true purpose of this video, and I honestly haven't thought it out a great deal, so I'm still not completely sure what's going to come up, but I feel like I need to record, if nothing else, for my own notes, my experience kind of as it's happening with this particular aspect of my life. And this aspect of my life is I have re-engaged with professional healthcare, meaning like people with actual doctorates, multiple doctorates, and a great depth of knowledge. So I have a doctor like that again, and I haven't in quite some time. Actually, now I think about it, I never have, or rarely have, and never for a length of time. I never had a therapist that I worked with for a long time that was at this level, and I think that was a detriment for me. Anyway. That's one piece of an old experience, like old stimulus that I'm trying to have a new experience with. Another piece of old stimulus that I'm trying to have a new experience with is the decision whether or not to take pharmaceutical medications to help manage my mental health and anxiety, depression issues. Number 3 is around the conversation that I have come to over and over and over again throughout my life of whether or not I should see, it's hard for me to even say it, whether or not I should go to inpatient treatment, mental health treatment. So those are 3 themes that have been present for me for some time now, particularly intensely in the past couple of months. It's I think March 17th when I record this, but of 2022. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, the reminder I'm giving myself right now is that the practice is to stay with what is happening now and not necessarily in this second now, but now this particular time engaging with these conversations, these topics, thinking about, like feeling through these experiencing. And when the tumult of memories of all the other times and all the other details come flooding in, I am going to attempt to let them flood right into a container that I'm gonna. So this is the second practice that my therapist taught me yesterday was the container. And basically it's when I start to get flooded with memories that take me away from what's happening for me now, is I need to gently, lovingly put them into a container and let them know you're important and I'll come back to you. I just can't do it. It's just not right now. Okay, so I'm putting you here for safekeeping. Go chill out, take a nap or something. So in this case, because I anticipate a great deal of unprocessed information to come through as I start to open this Pandora's box, because that's what it feels like, is I am going to envision the hold of a boat. And I'm going to imagine it in the same way that I used to witness hundreds of pounds of salmon funneling from out of a net into the hold of our boat when I was a teenager. So I'm going to envision all of those memories when they come up as just flooding right into the hold of the boat. They'll be safe there. I'll dock them. Come back when I can. Anyway, so yeah, that's the practice I'll be doing kind of while I'm trying to tell my story. And so there may be times when I pause or something to do a little bit of putting that stuff into the container. So, I will have to, I guess, include a few details now and then, but I have to also remind myself I'm coming back later to do that. I'm coming back later. I don't anticipate, note to self, I don't anticipate anybody watching this live. I don't anticipate anybody seeing this before I have a chance to come back and add more context. So it's okay. Don't worry. I don't have to have all the details straight right now. I don't have to have all the history in here right now. Just now. Sticking with now. Okay. All right. So right now, last night was the first night that I took a new medication. It's one I haven't even researched, which is really unusual for me. I just trusted my doctor. I chose it because it is fast acting and is quick out of my system. So if I decide I don't like it, I just stop taking it, and there aren't any major ramifications to just stop taking it. It is sedating. I slept much later this morning than I normally do, and I felt kind of groggy and heavy and sedated for quite some time. It was the very first time I'd taken it. I expect it to be a really strong response at first. So hopefully that will calm down to be just, about 8 hours of essentially sedation that I want from it. What that might mean, though, if it is as sedating as it might be, if it stays this sedating, then it will never be something I'll want to use during the day unless I'm just really off, just really can't handle another second, of feeling stressed. So I guess there's that. There are days like that. But it wouldn't be something I could use all the time. So we'll see. I also had a really heavy day yesterday, so even if I hadn't, how loud that is, even if I hadn't tried a new medication last night, I perhaps would still feel quite heavy and tired today just because of how much emotional expenditure and energetic expenditure I had yesterday. So there were a lot of aspects of yesterday that were kind of like my ideal day. And there were several aspects of yesterday that were the opposite of my ideal day and felt like role play examples of what my former life was like. And it was really uncomfortable to experience as well as have all those memories. So I'm needing to put some stuff in the hold of the boat. I'm trying to, which boat is this that I'm seeing? I think it's, what was the name of the one I was on that we had to offload in the middle of the night during a storm? That one. I'll have to remember its name. All I ever remember of it is its back deck, because that's where all the like death and destruction and dying I saw was likely to happen of us, our dying. Okay, more into the boat. I don't want to revisit near-death experiences right now either. Okay. Okay. So I have been extremely resistant to medication for quite a few years. I really wanted to see what life was like as a physically healthy person, as well as someone who's not on medication, on mental health medications. So I believe I had 1 year of that experience, which was 2019, where I was both physically in pretty great shape, pretty healthy, pretty vital, very, very energetic, especially compared to how I've felt since early 2020. Yeah, 2019 was kind of my pinnacle year. And I was not on mental health medications of any kind, and not actually even on a whole lot of supplements for my mental health or my body. I had reached a point that I really only just needed kind of the bare minimum all the time basics, like vitamin D and C and that class of stuff. So that's actually a memory that I'm glad I just had in this moment, that I did get to have 1 year where I did feel pretty healthy. I definitely had some struggles. There were some significant struggles. So and there was some behavior that I experienced, that I engaged in, some patterns I kept reliving and recreating that I wish I could have known how to break them that year sooner. But I didn't. Okay. And I can't remember what year I went off medication. I think it was late 2016. My naturopath helped me go off the cocktail I was on. So anyhow, here I am now, and I had talked to actually everyone in my medical team over this past year, saying, I'm really struggling. I really wonder if I should get on a pharmaceutical, but I'm really afraid to be on a pharmaceutical. Do you have any ideas? And I'm grateful that the naturopath that I found to work with for the neurofeedback, which was great, but also my system couldn't quite handle it at the time. I'll go back to it at some point. So I had started seeing her for neurofeedback, but then I realized she had a real depth of knowledge in other areas that I needed help. And over the bulk of 2021, she and I worked together to identify that I have a gene mutation that makes it difficult for my body to detox appropriately. And she started me on a supplement regimen that can help with that. And there's a lot of kind of things that go along with it. And unfortunately, when that issue kind of goes on for a while, especially when it's coupled with high stress like I had been under, it can lead to having all the symptoms of mental health problems, mental illness. So my experience of anxiety and exhaustion and extremity of emotions, and most of them lower emotions and more painful and scary and sad and upsetting emotions. It's been mostly what I've been sitting with for quite some time now. So it's gone on long enough that I know I can't, this has gone on too long. It's gone on too long. I need help out of it. And I've done all the eating stuff. I've also been doing a really pretty decent job overall with my nutrition, with the exception of I keep having trouble with gluten. But honestly, I feel like that's because my body treats gluten as a addiction. And yeah. So it's a tough one to give up. Anyhow, just because all of that's been going on for so long, and I started to have the thoughts that I used to be able to just like keep in my head, and I didn't really even hear them all that often until about the past 6 months, now started to come out of my mouth. Like, I hate myself. Came out of my mouth multiple times. And what I realized is that that was coming from the parts of me that were currently like kind of running the show and in charge. And those parts of myself hate themselves. The part of me that's here now does find it difficult to be around and to experience those parts of myself, and prefers not to. But I need to practice sitting with and learning how to love those parts of myself as well. And yeah. Okay. Container. Hold of the boat. The doctor I'm working with, I received as a reference from the doctor that helped me with the gene mutation. And the last time that she and I, her name is Dr. Pramazi, the last time that Dr. Pramazi and I met, she said, okay, I think we've got you on a pretty good track. It looks like you're, according to your labs, things are stabilizing. you're going to want to stay on this protocol for at least a year. Let's touch base in the spring. And at that same time, she also gave me, I said my mental health issues were really getting worse. And she said, okay, I think you need to check in with this group. This is a good clinic. And I looked them up, and they were all naturopaths and had a lot of experience in like somatic therapies and but also homeopathic approaches and just like this wide range. And they took my state health plan. Woohoo! So it took a little while to get on the schedule, but I started seeing somebody in early February. And with the exception of, I think, 1 week, I've seen her weekly since early February. And when we started, I said, I feel desperate. I feel desperate for help, whether that be in the form of, at that time, I didn't really want to consider hospitalization, but I was like, I'm really wanting to talk about medication. I feel I can't handle this anymore. And what she did get me pretty much right away after a couple of visits, we spent several hours together, and I had filled out tons of paperwork. She created a tincture for me of flowers and homeopathic remedies and stuff like that. That really helped a lot. And we kept meeting weekly, and I got a little bit better for a little bit, and then I crashed again, and I said, okay, I need information about an inpatient ASAP. And so she sent me quite a bit of information, and I went through some of it. Definitely got overwhelmed. She asked me, what is it that you're really looking for in a place? And I told her I want someplace quiet that has beautiful views, that I can, kind of spend my time how I want, and have food readily available, and people around to help me. And come to find out, that place doesn't probably exist as an institution, but it does exist in this house that I'm currently house sitting and sharing with a good friend of mine. Because after naming exactly what it was that I wanted in a place, I realized I am here. I have it. I've been here since late February, and I've been sleeping better. I've been eating really well, mostly plant-based. I've been taking nearly daily hot tubs, multiple times a week sauna. I've spent a lot of time in silence. Just ambient sounds are all I can hear. And a lot of time really looking at how beautiful it is, and how, the lovely colors, and just enjoying the play of light across the ceiling and the walls, and taking photos of shadows, and watching the sunset through these beautiful windows in front of me, sitting on the porch a lot. So it's literally perfect. It's everything I wanted. I get a ton of time to myself. My sweetheart comes on the weekends and sometimes during the week, or I go to our place and stay with him. Once in a while I get to hang out with my friend when our schedules match up. Yeah. So, that's my plan. I have to be out of here by March 24th. And a good chunk of that, I will have the place to myself, with the exception of the sweet resident dog, who I love very much. And whoever I choose to invite over. And I'm going to keep focusing on these very basic things that I've set up for myself that I need in order to rebuild my foundation so that when I leave here soon, I really feel like I can start my life again. I can start making money again. I can start actually sharing my life with more than just my medical professionals and my boyfriend and maybe one friend. I sort of miss people, but don't have the energy or the capacity for them right now, for the most part. So, okay, I feel like that's all I can really do right now, and it kind of gives me an idea of how long it takes me to share like that. I always seem to think that I can get a whole lot more in. Like I have these notes of when I was having a meltdown last night, and we talk about my meltdown. But maybe that's one of the things I'll consider is I will consider including in my schedule every day at least one check-in. Maybe it's a series. Maybe it's like one check-in that's just like what's on top, a 5-minute check-in, and then a longer, and then I'll stop it, and then I'll come back and do another live as my fuller check-in. Maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah, during my retreat, which starts tomorrow. Just decided. It starts tomorrow. So I have some planning to do today. Or maybe tomorrow's the soft start, and Saturday is when it really starts. But I'll also be spending some time with my sweetheart. So. Okay. Talk to you later. Thanks for being on the receiving end. Excuse me. Yeah, this felt good. It felt good to get on camera again. At least at this moment it did, and I'm learning about the moon and how it can help me know when's a good time to be outgoing and when's a good time to be more reserved and when's a good time to schedule my alone time, and when's a good time to schedule my ta-da, I'm here stuff. Because every once in a while I do feel ta-da, but I'm usually overtired from all the times that I tried to force the ta-da. It's using adrenal energy incorrectly. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for being on the receiving end. Have a good day. Bye.